On Global TV News Prime, President Tinubu meets newly appointed service chiefs. In Business, Senate Committee on Agriculture meets stakeholders on foreign. And on foreign, seeing 4 die in Cameroon opposition protest. And in sports, football nostalgia trails fan in Abuja. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Prime on Global Television. Coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja, I am Jubai Manson. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Now the news in full. President Bola Tinubu has met with the newly appointed service chiefs at the State House in Abuja. The closed-door meeting, which came 3 days after the announcement of the new appointments, marked the president's first formal engagement with the new military leadership. The appointments, according to the presidency, form part of a strategic realignment aimed at deepening professionalism, boosting morale, and enhancing interagency coordination in national security operations. The House of Representatives Committee on Diaspora has launched the Nigerians in Diaspora Response application and website, a digital platform designed to bridge communication gaps between the Nigerian government and its citizens living abroad. The unveiling took place during the first Nigerian stakeholders engagement on diaspora governance held in Abuja. Declaring the event open, Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, said Nigerians in the diaspora continue to excel globally, contributing significantly to the nation's economy, diplomacy, and image. Moving on to residents of Gwarinpa district in Abuja are raising serious concerns over the growing heaps of refuse that have taken over major portions of their community, calling on the Federal Capital Territory Administration and relevant waste management authorities to urgently intervene before the situation worsens. Umbong Usoro has details.
The once serene environment of Gwarinpa is now littered with piles of waste, emitting foul odors and posing a serious health risk to residents. Areas around 3rd Avenue, Tipa Garage, and several inner streets have become dumping grounds, with drains and access road blocked by uncollected refuse. The chief of Gwarinpa village, speaking to Global Television, said that after writing severally to the authorities about the issue, the waste continue to pile up. He said his people are suffering from the stench and mosquitoes and called for urgent government action to evacuate those dumps before it leads to an epidemic.
Right. Then they're telling us that all they need is our support that they could no longer meet up, and it has been affecting us negatively. And we are clamoring for the government if there's anything they can do to be of aid, because it's not been good. We have not been enjoying the situation at all.
Residents say the uncollected waste has become a daily nightmare, making movement difficult and endangering children who play nearby.
This is not good to be here like this. I've been here for a long time. I've been seeing this thing, but it's not good.
This bola is too much for this thing now. In the spoil my belly, in go score the person everything, in they do this, in they give the person tutor for body.
That the government, they're supposed to do something about it. At least three times in a week, they're supposed to come and pack it so that this place is not going to mess up for yet.
Authorities are yet to make an official statement, but residents remain hopeful that their plea will spur immediate action to restore cleanliness and ensure environmental safety in Gwarinpa.
So today we visited Gwarinpa, where we have a waste dump just behind me, and this is not the future. This is not the picture of the Nigeria we want. We are calling on those who are responsible, the government, those at the FCT, and every other person in Armac to make sure that this waste is cleared and the people of this community will be able to live in a clean, serene environment, and that's what we call for. My name is Umbong Usoro from Global Television.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says it will conduct the forthcoming Anambra State governorship election in 5,718 out of 5,720 polling units across the state. The information was released by Dr. Kenneth Ikagu, the National Commissioner supervising Anambra State and chairman of INEC's Tender Board Committee during a readiness assessment visit by a delegation from INEC headquarters, Abuja. Ikagu said the commission has achieved 99% operational preparedness for the November 8, 2025 governorship election in Anambra State. Courts in Kaduna State were shut on Monday as the Judiciary Staff Union of Nigeria began an indefinite strike to press home several demands, including the implementation of financial autonomy for the judiciary. The Federal and State High Courts, the Upper Sharia Court, and the Customary Court and Magistrate Courts were under lock and key, with banners on the gate reading, "Jesun, Kaduna State Chapter embarks on strike." The union said the industrial action was due to the state government's failure to respond to multiple correspondences, including demand later dated September 1st and an ultimatum letter dated October 9th, 2025. The Nigerian Defense Academy in Kaduna State has advised residents of Afaka, Kuya, and Mondo to steer clear of its open range from Tuesday 28 October to Friday 7th November 2025. This is contained in a statement issued by the Academy Public Relations Officer Major Muhammad Maidawa in Kaduna. Maidawa stated that the inhabitants of Mondo, Samia, Kunya, and Afaka general area are cautioned as the Academy will be conducting a range management package shooting exercise for cadets of the 73 Regular Course Army. Governor Biodun Oyebanji on Monday emerged as a governorship candidate of the All Progressive Congress in Ekiti State ahead of the June 20, 2026 poll. The governor, who is the sole candidate, was unanimously affirmed by a total of 885 delegates, 5 each from 177 wards across the state, in line with the party's internal electoral guidelines and Electoral Act 2020. His emergence followed the withdrawal of Atinuke Omolayo and disqualification of Kayode Ojo and Abimbola Olajumoke, who failed to meet the party's requirements, which paved way for Oyebanji's affirmation as an APC consensus candidate. The African Democratic Congress, ADC, in Adamawa State has inaugurated a caretaker executive committee to steer the party's affairs until a new leadership is formally elected. Presiding over the inauguration, the Northeast Zonal Vice Chairman of the party, Babachir Lawal, said stakeholders agreed to constitute the interim team to stabilize the party and prepare it for the 2027 general elections. Lawal explained that the new structure was approved by the National Working Committee after due consultation and compliance with the party's constitution. In another sad note now, at least 5 teenage girls have lost their lives following a boat mishap in Nafada Town, Gombe State. Media aide to Governor Inuwa Yahaya Ismaila Umba Musili has expressed deep sadness over the incident in a condolence message to bereaved families. He described the incident as painful and heart-wrenching, especially given the tender ages of the victims and the grief caused to their families. Moving on to United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF Child Protection Specialist Victor Atichukwu has raised concerns that some internally displaced persons, IDP camp officials, were using their positions to take advantage of vulnerable girls and women dislocated by conflicts. Atachukwu disclosed this during a meeting convened by the JESP Health and Gender Development Initiative in collaboration with UNICEF to map out modalities for the prevention of sexual and gender-based violence as well as sexual exploitation and abuse in Makodi. He noted that gender-based violence targets individuals because of their gender, while sexual exploitation involves abusing positions of power or trust for sexual or financial gain. The Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, has forecast varying weather conditions across the country from Monday to Wednesday, with slight dust haze expected in northern states and moderate rainfall across parts of central and southern regions. The agency warned of possible flash floods in some states and advised the public to remain alert. In its 3-day weather outlook release, the agency stated that slight dust haze with good visibility is expected over Borno, Zamfara, northern Kaduna, Yobe, Jigawa, Kano, and Katsina states on Monday. You are watching the live broadcast of News Prime. When News Prime returns, Senate Committee on Agriculture meets with stakeholders. Details coming shortly, plus business and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is News Prime on Global Television. Thank you for staying with us. Major stakeholders in Africa's business and investment landscape coverage at the AfriBank African Trade Center for the official signing of new strategic partnerships aimed at deepening trade, youth development, and economic collaboration across the continent. Our business correspondent, Kike Lomo Okere, tells us more.
Across Africa, there is a growing movement to bridge the gap between business and government, a move seen as key to driving sustainable growth and improving regional competitiveness. The signing ceremony marks a new chapter in effort to strengthen Africa's private sector and promote inclusive growth through collaboration between public institutions and private enterprises. Officials says the agreement will serve as a framework for driving innovation, improving access to business opportunities, and connecting Africa's next generation of entrepreneurs with global markets.
Represent far more than signatures on papers. They symbolize shared commitment, building a safer, stronger, and more connected Africa and business environment. Through these alliances, we created new pathways for entrepreneurs to thrive, for women to lead with confidence, and for youth to find opportunities beyond boundary.
The partnership organizer says go beyond paperwork, symbolizing a shared commitment to building a stronger, safer, and more united Africa.
See how important it is for us to collaborate as individuals, as countries, as the continent at large, to be able to attract not just investment and possibilities, but also attract the goodwill of other countries as well.
The high point of the event was the formal signing of the Memorandum of Understanding between participating institutions, a symbolic and strategic step towards unlocking new opportunities for trade, enterprises, and innovations across Africa. It is a commitment that reinforces one message, that Africa progress will be built not in isolation, but through partnership, collaboration, and shared vision. Kike Lomo Okere, Global Television News.
The federal government has concluded plans to build food storage centers at community level to save post-harvest wastage in rural areas of the country. The Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Abubakar Kyari, stated this in Abuja. Over now to Topsy Gimba for details.
The Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Abubakar Kyari, said these centers are different from the food silos in the cities, but built in rural areas to save the post-harvest wastages farmers may encounter, highlighting on the importance of the 3 Bs, namely a B for an act to establish cassava inclusion as flour, a B for an act to establish National Food Reserve Agency, and a B for an act to establish Rice Council of Nigeria. Senator Abubakar Kyari said that the federal government is planning to build food storage centers at the community level to save farmers from food produce wastage. Senator Kyari also revealed that the federal government is working towards ensuring that prices of food items further crash in 2026 to make food available to Nigerians while providing incentives for farmers as effort to cushion the effects the policy might have come along with on food prices crash in the country.
We are in the process of trying to see, because this is harvest time now, and part of the reason that we are also happy on the National Food Reserve Agency is the issue of the guaranteed minimum price, because that's one mechanism that you can use to offset the cost of production.
Earlier, the chairman of the Senate Committee on Agricultural Production Services and Rural Development, Senator Saliu Mustafa Kwara Central, said the three bills were significant to the country's food security and urged the stakeholders to contribute meaningfully for the members of the committee to report back at the plenary for easy passage. He said the cassava flour inclusion bill will save the country from importing millions of tons of wheat for bakery into the country.
Creating jobs for our teeming unemployed youth and improving the living standard of smallholder farmers. Imagine a Nigeria where every loaf of bread, every pastry, and every noodle not only nourishes our body.
The representative of the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, the Senate Chief Whip, Senator Mohammed Mongunu Borno North, said the bills will provide food security for the country and also save the importation.
This bill will streamline funding, governance, and resource distribution to protect the vulnerable. Rice Development Council of Nigeria bill. This is the third bill.
Many stakeholders presented memorandum in the support of the bills and called for their quick passage into laws.
I want to say that this is the time of cassava in the world. We produce 64 million metric tons in the world, but we are not in the global market.
Congratulations to the Senate for bringing this bill forward, especially the sponsor of this bill. It is timely, it is very important.
There is no time better than now for federal government to work fast in order to save the country from the looming threats of hunger the population is faced with. Topsy Gimba reporting for Global Television News.
The Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, has achieved a record-breaking tax collection of 47.39 trillion naira between October 2023 and September 2025. This period is under the current leadership of the Revenue Service Chairman, George Adedeji. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu had approved the appointment of the tax chairman on September 14, 2023. And on the foreign news now, Cameroon's longtime leader, Paul Biya, has secured another term in office after the country's Constitutional Council declared him winner of the October 12 presidential election. The 92-year-old has ruled Cameroon for over 4 decades, making him one of the world's largest serving heads of state. Our correspondent, Mukhtar Kasim, reports.
According to the Constitutional Council, President Biya won 53.7% of the vote, while his main challenger, Issa Chiroma Bakari, came second with 35.2%.
In accordance with the provisions of the Constitution and following the completion of the national vote count, the Constitutional Council hereby declares that the candidate, Paul Biya, has obtained the majority of the votes cast. Therefore, and by virtue of the powers conferred upon this council, Paul Biya is hereby proclaimed as the elected president of the Republic of Cameroon with a mandate to serve for the next 7 years.
Chiroma had earlier declared himself winner and called for nationwide demonstrations, leading to deadly clashes in Douala, where 4 people were killed as security forces dispersed protesters. Observers say the election reaffirms Biya's tight grip on power in a system critics describe as increasingly authoritarian. Paul Biya, Cameroon's only leader since independence from France in 1960, begins his 8th 7-year term, extending a rule marked by political repression, economic inequality, and separatist tensions. Mukhtar Kasim, reporting for Global Television News.
The United Nations Palestinian Refugee Agency says Israel is continuing to deny entry to its global staff and aid supplies into Gaza, in defiance of the ICJ ruling. Hamas expands its search for 13 remaining bodies of Israeli captives in Gaza, and it's working with the Red Cross and Egyptian team to search behind the Israeli military line. Palestinians returning to their homes in Gaza are facing danger from exploded ordnance, with at least 53 people killed and hundreds injured by the explosive left behind by the Israeli military. Meanwhile, the Gaza Tribunal has issued its final findings, saying that Israel is committing genocide in Gaza and that Israel perpetrators and their Western enablers should not be allowed to escape justice for their crimes. The unofficial tribunal, which was established in London last November, gave its moral judgment following 4 days of public hearings in Istanbul, Turkey, presided over by Richard Falk, a former United Nations Special Rapporteur on Human Rights in Palestinian territories. The initiative comes in the tradition of Russell Tribunal, which heard evidence in 1967 of the United States war crimes in Vietnam. In sports news now, sporting leadership in Nigeria is taking a fresh turn as individuals are newly elected presidents took charge across several national sports federations, from handball to shooting to aquatics to taekwondo, rugby to hockey to tennis. The excitement in Abuja has been palpable. Our correspondent Anete Patrick reports on a day of victory, surprises, and renewed hope for sports development.
At the indoor sports hall of the Moshood Abiola National Stadium, Abuja, elections into various sports federations have produced a new set of leaders. Customs Controller General Adewale Adeniyi now heads the Wrestling Federation, while Olympic champion Daniel Igali remains on board. Rugby President Dr. Ademola Are keeps his seat, and Senator Obinna Ogba takes over traditional sports leadership in a surprise upset.
I am going to be working with the right sets of people. So I am not going to be starting on ground zero, and I still have him in the board. We have a couple of other people who are similarly very, very experienced, and they are going to bring their weight of experience into the game.
Coming around once again can be very challenging, and it shows that I am going to be more responsible in discharging the duties, and definitely not to disappoint the confidence reposed in me for the second time.
Meanwhile, Commodore Mohammed Shetima takes charge of the Shooting Federation after defeating the incumbent. The story was different in handball, as the chairman, Kogi State Handball Association, Jubril Seidu, emerged as president-elect of the Handball Federation of Nigeria.
The Shooting Federation appears to be a broken home. So my first priority will be to mend fences, to bring everybody together so that we can move the Shooting Federation for our collective successes.
All we owe the handball family is to ensure that dividends of good handball delivery is what we owe them, and we ensure to do that.
For aquatic sports, a new wave has already begun to rise as Donko Chamberlain, a grassroots sports advocate, now pilots the affairs of Nigerian Aquatics Federation. He promises to create more opportunities for young swimmers and boost Nigeria's presence in international competitions. In taekwondo, all cheers, no contest, renowned sports administrator and pioneering practitioner Tayo Kubrat Popola emerged as president unopposed. Stakeholders believe her leadership will restore stability after turbulent years in the sport. Fresh faces are stepping up, as well as former Delta Speaker Victor Oche won all available votes to become Tennis Federation President, while Simon Nkom retained his seat as Hockey Federation President, riding on what supporters describe as an impressive first time. From victories to lessons learned, the inauguration of Federation President signals a fresh playbook for Nigerian sports. The coming years will reveal whether these new captains can deliver medals, sponsorship, and lasting development. Anete Patrick reporting for Global TV News.
Barcelona legends have defeated African legends 3-1 in an exhibition match at the MKO Abiola Stadium in Abuja. The game attracted thousands of fans who turned out to watch former stars from both sides: Austin Okocha, Nwankwo Kanu, Obafemi Martins, Emmanuel Adebayo, and El Haddad Dorf, featured for the African legends. Zaka Meshindia, Javar Salvala, and Haruna Babangida were among the players representing Barcelona. The event forms part of a global tour aimed at celebrating football history and strengthening sports relations. Fans described the match as a memorable football experience. As News Primes comes to an end, here's a quick look and a reminder of our top stories again. On Global TV News Prime, we brought to you that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has met with newly appointed service chiefs at the State House in Abuja. In business, the federal government has concluded plans to build food storage centers at community level to save post-harvest wastage in rural areas of the country. And on the foreign news, the United Nations Palestinian Refugee Agency says Israel is continuing to deny entry to its global staff and aid supplies into Gaza in defiance of the ICJ ruling. And finally, in sports, Barcelona legends have defeated African legends 3-1 in an exhibition match at the MKO Abiola Stadium in Abuja. The game attracted thousands of fans who turned out to watch former stars from both sides. Now that's it on News Prime. A quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen by using @GlobalTVNG. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching.